Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Melissa Abache from the Koç University International Admissions Team. I will be your moderator for today's webinar. We see you are joining us today very quickly. We're going to wait a couple of seconds so that everyone can join and hear the full presentation. We have a lot of people registered for today, which is great. We really like to see people coming from Turkey, from lots of different countries have signed up for today's webinar. Whilst we wait for everyone to join, we want to go some ground rules to make sure that it is a good experience for everyone and that we get the most out of it. So for today, please know that your microphones are automatically muted. We are not using the feature of raising your hand. So what we're going to kindly ask you is to type your questions on the Q&A box that you see there, on the icon that you see there. Or if you can't use that, you should all be able to use it. You can also use the chat box as well. All the questions will be answered at the end of the presentation. So we want you to, to pay attention to the information we're going to give you about the Masters in International Management program here at Koç University. We will be recording the webinar and we will be uploading the video of the recording to our YouTube channel, the Koç University International Admissions channel, and also to the Koç University Graduate School of Business YouTube channel. I also encourage you from now to subscribe to those channels because we're constantly putting new content that will be useful for you as you're considering your options for business school in the future. We are scheduled to last for about 1 hour, including question and answers. If we need to take a bit more time because there's a lot of questions, we can happily stay, because for us the most important thing is to make sure that you get your questions answered and that you come out of the activity with all the information you need to prepare and submit an application for a program. So I keep seeing people joining in. That's great. We're just going to wait a little bit and then I'll introduce our speaker for today. She's on camera right now. You can see her. So we're just going to wait a couple of seconds because I know we do have a lot of people coming in today. Okay. In the meantime, for those of you who have joined us, I'm going to activate a poll, okay? So you should now see on your screens, we are asking you 2 questions, and I'm going to ask you to please vote, basically, to let us know where you're from and what is your educational status. And whilst we do that, we will wait for other attendees to join us. You're very good at voting. That's good. And it's also entertaining to see how the numbers are moving that we see. And I will give you a summary of the polling results as well. I think you can see them too. Wow, we have someone from Chile. Thank you so much for joining today. We know that the time difference is significant. So I think it's very, very early, yeah, or morning time for you there. So thank you for joining. I see people joining from Pakistan as well. Thank you for joining. I think it's later for you there, so it's now the end of today. Okay. Yes, we will be doing the webinar in English, don't worry. The slides are in English and we will be presenting in English and answering your questions in English. Hello from Nigeria as well, participants coming from there. Okay, so I'm going to stop the polling. I know there's still some of you, well, 83% of you have voted. If you haven't, do that now if you want. This is just for us to get an idea of who is joining us today. You would have also completed a short registration form, and either the international admissions teams or the Graduate School of Business will be in touch later if you have any questions, and we will put all of our contact details at the end of the presentation as well. Okay, I'm gonna stop the polling now. I think 2 minutes is enough. Okay, so what we can see is around 60% of you are from Turkey. So Hoş geldiniz, welcome to our webinar again. And 40% of you are from another country. Thank you so much for joining. As I said, I know it's different time zones, so taking the time to be here with us, it's really appreciated. Then we can see it's fairly split in terms of your educational status. So 39% of you are in your last year of university. So that's a good thing that you're doing early research about your future career options and graduate school options. 35% of you have recently graduated in the past 3 years from university. So you might be now, in your first job, hopefully, and enjoying that job. And now you're looking for the next step, how you get there, right? And around 26% of you graduated more than 3 years ago. So you're in a kind of early career to mid-career situation, and we can address some of your questions as well in terms of your fit with the program or with other programs offered at the Graduate School of Business. So I'm going to just share the results so that now you can see the results. Sorry, I had to click on that first. Okay, so without much further ado, I'm going to now close my camera, and I'm going to give the microphone to Ms. Didem Özgür. She's from our Graduate School of Business and the coordinator of our Masters in International Management programs. She will explain in detail about all of the formats that we have available. She's a great colleague to work with, and I'm very happy that she's here today so that we can pick her brain and ask her all of these questions and really get to know her. Her team, of course, they have a lot of applications, and they do their best to always, take care of each applicant to make sure you have all the right information. So I'm going to give now the microphone to Didem. Welcome, Didem. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'll leave it.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you very much for organizing this webinar, and thank you for your nice words, and same here for you. So hello, everyone. As Melissa mentioned, my name is Didem Özgür. I'm the MIM program coordinator, and my colleague Özgün is with me here. She will be answering your questions as well in the Q&A session. So as Melissa mentioned, I have a very short presentation for you guys, and after my presentation, you will be able to ask your questions via using the chat box of the Zoom program. So let's start. MIM is the acronym for the Master of Science in International Management. It is a full-time non-thesis program, and it is designed for, this part is important, I think, since I saw the poll. It is designed for fresh graduates or the ones who have less than 3 years of work experience. So when you decide to apply for the program and visit our online application system, you will see that we offer you 3 options of this program, namely Koç MIM Double Degree, and SAMS MIM. You can apply for 3 of them, but you will be accepted in one of them only. So it is good to know the differences among those versions, those options. So I will go one by one. Actually, all 3 of them has the same curriculum, which means that all MIM and Double Degree MIM, SAMS MIM students will have the same portfolio of courses, and you will be sitting in the same classrooms. But those options will differ among themselves in terms of graduation requirements, program duration, and student mobility. So I'm going one by one. Koç MIM is a 1-year program. All students, Koç MIM students, start at Koç and finish at Koç. And when they collect 33 Koç credits and 3.0 GPA, they're good to go with their degree. Koç MIM Double Degree program is a 2-year program. Students who are accepted in this program study the first year at Koç University and get their MIM degree, their Master of Science in International Management degree. And the very next year, they go to the University of South Carolina and study their Masters in International Business for 1 year. So in 2 years, students study in 2 different countries at 2 different universities, and they get 2 different separate degrees. And SAMS MIM is a 1-year program. Students who are accepted in this program will study the first semester, not year, semester at Koç, and the second semester at another SAMS school, what we call the term abroad. All SAMS students are required to do this term abroad. This is the compulsory component of the program. And after having studied for 1 year, they are required to fulfill an international internship, which should be at least 8 consecutive weeks, and it should be on full-time basis. And it should be the company or the institution, NGO, whatever institution it is, that you will be interning must be outside, located outside of Turkey. That's what we define it as international internship. As another graduation requirement, please pay attention. This one is not an admission criteria, but a graduation requirement, the third language acquisition. So every SAM student have to provide a proof of a third language acquisition at the end of their studies. Although this might be, at very basic level, A1, A2, and whatever language you are speaking, it would work. But it is a graduation requirement. So here you see the curriculum of the program. We start the term, the academic year, in September, but for some students, we started earlier. Those students are the ones who have undergrad degrees other in disciplines other than business administration and economics. So they start in August with a pre-master program. So here you see on my table the titles of the core courses. Every student, Coach MIM student, double degree student, SAM student, have to take 5 core courses. Their titles are Blog Seminar, Global Strategy, Responsible Global Leadership Seminar, Cross-Cultural Management, and Business Project. Those are the core courses. Beside those courses, Coach MIM and double degree students are required to take at least 5 electives. And I cannot tell the exact number for some students because since they will be also on their term abroad and in different schools, each school has its own ECTS value. So the number of the electives that you need to take change, depends on your school. So we will do the calculations afterwards. Besides this course portfolio, we support our students with skill seminars to strengthen your soft skills and expand your knowledge, intellectual capacity on hot trending topics, such as artificial intelligence in business, data science, gender and diversity management, sustainability. So those are the skill seminars that we are delivering. Normally, this is a full-time program. It is a full-time program, but if you arrange accordingly, you can free up to 2 weekdays in your schedule, which might allow you to do an internship or a part-time job if it's acceptable for the companies. So I mentioned the double degree program. For this program, each year we accept only 5 students. So those 5 students, when they go to the University of South Carolina on basis of our agreement, they do not pay any additional fee to this university. We provide another international opportunity to our students, to our Coach MIM students. Our Coach MIM students, after having studied 1 year at Koç University, the MIM program, they can apply for the Masters in Global Business Society of Yale School of Management on basis of our membership in the Global Network for Advanced Management. So this does not provide you an automatic admission, but it provides you an exclusive channel, exclusive path that you can apply for this program in a much smaller pool of candidates, again, from the member schools of this network. And SAMS, I'm sure you have heard about SAMS program. It is a global alliance in management education. It brings together currently 33 member schools and more than 60 corporate partners. It was founded in 1988 in France. Their office is located in Paris. And each year, those 33 member schools accept around 1,300 MIM students. And for the moment, SAMS Alliance has more than 15,000 alumni working all around the world. It's quite a network. So here you see the European map of the schools. As SAMS works on one principle, it works with only one university from each country. So here you see it on the European map. Let's zoom in. You see the London School of Economics from UK, You see Bocconi from Italy, Esade from Spain, and Koch from Turkey. On this map, you see the global spread of the alliance. You see, for example, Cornell from the USA. You see Ivy from Canada. You see South American schools, schools from Asia, University of Sydney from Australia, and many so on. So it is its presence on 5 different continents. Another important feature of the program Alliance is their membership with their multinational companies. Those are the very well-known multinationals, corporations. They are kind of investing for their international recruitment in the long run, so being a member of this alliance. So here you see the labels of those companies. You see McKinsey, A.T. Kearney, you see Arçelik from Turkey, you see Facebook, Google, P&G, L'Oreal. We're running business projects with those companies. It is a core component, as you would remember my first slides. This is the core course of the second term with the highest credits. So you will be working in teams and you will be assigned for projects and case studies in those companies that we are partnered with. And you will have supervisors from the companies, you will have an academic supervisor, and your performance will be evaluated by them, assessed by them, as well as your peers, which means your teammates that are also assigned for those projects. You will be working in real cases and you will be trying to find solutions to their real issues or generating new innovative projects for their future plannings. SAMS had other components as well. Let me talk about the SAMS Career Forum. It is kind of a job fair. It is being held every November, either in Budapest or Vienna each year. So it is exclusive, SAMS exclusive. Only SAMS corporate partners, only SAMS students and alumni can join this job fair. And when you join it, participate in it, you can participate in different seminars, but the most important pertinent part of it is the job interviews that you will be running with the corporations. You can either do job interviews with them for full-time jobs or your international internship. And SAMS is the governance and the democratic governance is very important in the Alliance. So student board, SAMS clubs and SAMS alumni association, they are very vocal and they kind of form, they're strong in forming the future planning of the Alliance. Of course, they are really important features for strengthening the network among the alumni. Each year, SAMS graduation ceremony is held in different country as hosted by the SAMS partner schools. Last year, it was in Vienna, and for 2021, it will be held in Copenhagen, Denmark. And the admission requirements. So if you would like to apply, you need to visit our online application system. You see apply.ku.edu.tr in blueprints. And you are required to write down 4 essays if you're applying for the SAMS program and 3 essays if you're applying for the MIM program. You will see the questions. So it is a guided, they will be guided essays. And you are supposed to submit your GMAT or GRE scores. If you're applying for CoachMIM program only, ALES is accepted. Again, for language capabilities, we accept TOEFL IBT score for SAMS and double degree programs. And if you're applying for CoachMIM program, YDS score is accepted as well. We're expecting your official transcripts and 2 reference letters from your credentials. And when you submit your application, you will be invited for an interview. And interviews are being held in 2 parts. One part is the case interview, which is a very, very general case study, be a case discussion in your group. And in the second part, it will be the individual interview where we try to know you much better. And the tuition fee for the next academic year, it is 110,000, still to be confirmed, Turkish liras. And the application fee is 150 Turkish liras, but we do not expect from our international candidates to pay the application fee for this year because of the unexpected situation we are all having in all around the world. You can follow us on social media, and if we don't have enough time for you to answer your questions, you can always send your emails, questions to gsb@ku.edu.tr. We will be promptly responding your questions. So I'm done with my short presentation and ready to get your questions.
Great. I'm gonna open my camera again. Thank you so much, Didem, for the presentation. Now we're also welcoming Özgün Golcu, also from the Graduate School of Business. So together we will start to answer your questions. So I have started to take notes of the first questions that you ask. I hope you're hearing me. It says my internet connection is a bit unstable. Hope it's okay now.
We do hear you.
There's a question here. Okay, thank you. So we have a question about the procedure for, I guess, obtaining a scholarship if there are specific requirements. So if somebody would like to receive a scholarship for the Coach MIM or the SEMS MIM program, if there is a specific form or procedure or requirements that they have to submit.
Well, we considered every candidate submitting their application as a scholarship requesters. So we will consider them as candidates who are asking for scholarship. The most important features are the interviews and GMAT or GRE scores.
So we can say that the combination of your interview performance and your GMAT or GRE score is important for your scholarship opportunities.
Okay. Okay, so there is no separate form. It's just they need to apply to the program and they will all be considered for a scholarship and they can express their interest for a scholarship during the interview as well, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and after the interviews, Özgün will send everybody the scholarship request forms. I think, Özgün, right?
Yes. After your submission, all candidates will inform the scholarship form.
Okay. There is a related question here. If there is a full tuition scholarship.
The tuition is, let me clarify it, it is a tuition waiver. We do not pay stipends. So we offer tuition waivers in different percentages, 100%, 75%, 50%, and 25%. And for coach grads, graduate students, undergrad students, we also offer a 25% discount. So that is the procedure we're following.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to go through the questions that I saw first on the chats area, and then I'll go to the questions on the Q&A part. So there was with more than 3 years of experience from the graduate school.
Yeah, yes, we run a variety of programs at the Graduate School of Business, and we are the guys staff only doing the MIM program, but we have other colleagues working for MBA programs, Tech MBA, Design MBA, Health MBA, and Executive MBA, and Finance programs, and even PhD programs. Yeah, we guide our candidates upon their work experience. So if a candidate has more than 3 years of work experience, he or she can apply for MBA programs. If they have more than 7 years of managerial work experience, they can apply for the executive MBA programs. And if for finance program, I might be wrong, but it should be more than 2 years of work experience. They can always send their emails to the GSB, the generic email address that you're seeing on my slide, and the appropriate coordinator will answer their questions in details.
Great, thank you.
But I do not offer someone who have more than 5 years of experience the MIM program.
Great. Yeah, I mean, I think the aim of the MIM program is for people to get started, to gain knowledge of management if they have, for example,
with an international focus, and if they're
Exactly.
willing to work for the multinationals.
Okay. A similar question related to the number of years of experience. Do internships count as work experience? Okay.
No.
Okay. So when we talk about work experience in terms of years, it's full-time professional paid work.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. A question, is it an online program? No.
Well, yeah, against the backdrop of COVID-19, we started. So we've been delivering our courses online now on full basis. But we are expecting to open our campus by September. But all universities depend on the decision of the Higher Education Council in Turkey. So if they say, okay, online courses are also acceptable, then we're already prepared for it. So we can offer the program online if the Higher Education Council admits it, and if there's still COVID related communication and
travel
issues.
restrictions, I guess. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I mean, right now we know that there is a big, there are a lot of uncertainties for especially international applicants, not only applying programs in Turkey, but also in every other country, as to whether they will be able to travel from their country to another place to study. So we hope that in the next few months, some of those uncertainties, are reduced, that we have clearer answers based on guidance from the national government but as Didem, as you were saying, as a university, we're very well prepared already, and we are all
our infrastructure is ready.
Great. That's is it possible to study in Turkish, the program?
No, the formation of language is English at Koç University. Well, let me speak, let's say, more specifically at the Graduate School of Business. But there are language courses offered on campus. So if we have an international candidate and who is interested in learning Turkish, we do offer Turkish courses.
Okay, so now we have a question about English. For students who are in native English-speaking countries, is it compulsory to take a TOEFL certification?
No.
Okay. There are some restrictions, though, in terms of what is considered, like which countries are in the list of native English-speaking countries. So you need to check country by country, okay?
Yeah, it's, it might be on their constitution. It is very visible. It's not a big deal to identify it.
Is it possible to apply without GMAT and GRE?
Özgün, would you like to answer that question?
Yeah, actually, it is possible to apply for the MIM program without GMAT and GRE score, but without them, you can participate to our interviews, but then you have to submit your scores.
So exactly. So they're not required for application, but for admission and enrollment as a student, then they eventually need to bring a test for a valid test.
Yes, test scores are concrete criteria. So we must depend on some concrete criteria. That's why we're asking for them.
Okay. Another GMAT related question, does every program require the same GMAT score? I guess it's, is it the same GMAT for SEMS MIM, Koç MIM, and double degree MIM?
For SEMS MIM? Yeah, Özgün, please go on, go ahead.
So for SEMS MIM program, you should have 600 GMAT score minimum, but for Koç MIM or double degree program, you can have 550 or something. It is accepted.
Yeah, and if they're applying for the Koç MIM program, ALES would work as well.
Okay. Now, question about tuition fees. Are the tuition fees the same for all programs? So is it the same tuition for Coach MIM, SEMS MIM, and
Yeah,
WMIM?
it is the same.
All the same.
Okay, perfect. Just worth mentioning, the tuition, when you translate that into US dollars at the current exchange rate of the Turkish lira to US dollars, it's approximately $15,000, okay, 1-5.
Yeah.
You know, the exchange rate is quite volatile in Turkey in the past, well, over the past year. So, you know, that might become actually even more affordable. We don't know.
Yeah.
We can ask our professors who specialize in finances and macroeconomics what is their you know their expectation. But as of now, it's approximately $15,000 the tuition fee. However, the international students pay that tuition in Turkish lira. This is just to give you an idea if you want to compare it to your national currency. Another question, is the university degree important? I guess the degree program that you completed in university.
Well, we do accept students, candidates from other undergrad backgrounds. So I didn't show the slide that showing our statistics of the classrooms, but 40% of our students are not from business administration background. So that's why we are running the pre-master program in August for those students who have degrees in engineering. We do have students from doctor of medicine, you know, medical doctors. So we accept students as far as they fulfill the admission requirements.
Okay.
Yeah, we had students from different kinds of engineering departments and also international relations. And as Didem said, we had doctor students, so it's open for everyone.
Great. With regards to the start of the program, is it possible to start the program in the spring semester? And the other question has been already answered. What is the minimum GMAT score? We're going to answer that. So can they start in spring?
No, they cannot. We start our program in fall.
So it's a one intake program for every fall semester. In Turkey, the fall semester typically starts in September, like mid-September to October. Of course, this year, we also need to wait for the official announcement from the government in terms of when the academic year is going to start. And based on that, all universities will then announce when is their registration dates. And for example, in the case of the program like MIM that has a pre-masters for some students, when they will start those courses.
Yeah, I think we will do the pre-master program online though, because we're kind of sure that the campus will not be open in summer.
That's true. I think that's the situation in nearly every country nowadays. We have a question here. Does the university accept IELTS instead of TOEFL? So we can divide the question. Does it accept IELTS for application?
It depends on the candidate's location. Normally for Turkish citizens and or the ones who are living in Turkey, the Higher Education Council accepts the TOEFL IBT test only. But for the international candidates from other countries residing outside of Turkey, they can submit their IELTS scores. And in this case, it should be, I think, 7 in total. Overall point score should be 7.
I think your mic is muted, maybe. Okay.
I think it's...
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, my connection is not very well right now.
Okay. We had another question. Can I be considered for some discount or skip some credits if I have a master's degree in mathematics and work related management experience?
Discount? No, we conduct scholarship tuition waivers. So we will consider her or him for the scholarship program. But for the credit transfers, we should see the transcript first of all, and we need an academic committee decision, the council's official decision to do that. I cannot be sure of it. It's an individual case.
We have a, that's okay, but yeah. In these cases, please do write to the graduate school, to the email, if you want to know about your specific, if you want to, for example, perhaps share your specific transcripts and see if there's some courses that could be eligible for recognition.
Yeah, we
now
need to talk with our dean, executive director, and yeah.
Okay. We have a question in Italian, and you're lucky that I can speak Italian and understand the question, but it is a very valid question. It says, during this period, because of coronavirus, it will be difficult to obtain the TOEFL and GRE or GMAT exams. How much time do we have to complete or take this test?
Well, especially for this scholarship decisions, we do need the results. Well, considering the registration period, the mid-August, we need to see their scores until mid-August. Well, Melissa, you always inform us about what's going on GMAT and GRE, so they can take those GRE and GMAT home tests.
Yes,
they're acceptable.
Exactly. So we have received information from ETS. They are, for example, the company that administers the TOEFL and the GRE test scores. They have introduced at home online TOEFL and GRE.
Yeah, I think for TOEFL, the Higher Education Council does not accept it, but for GRE and GMAT,
GMAT also now has an at-home version. They do require some specific conditions that you have to meet in terms of your computer equipment, internet connection, camera, the room that you have to be in, so that that they are sure in terms of security and avoiding cheating. But if you're able to meet the technical requirements, and you can register to take the test, as Didem was saying, before August, that would be your recommendation. But we do know that it is a difficult period for many applicants, and not all of them may comply with those technical requirements to take the at-home test either. We have a
Even
question.
If they have an expired score of GMAT, it will be okay for until the registration, I think.
Okay, so if you have taken it before, apply with your existing TOEFL or GMAT or GRE score. I'm going to kindly ask you to stop writing questions on the chat and write them on the Q&A, because I'm falling behind on the Q&A, but I'll finish the chat section and then move to the Q&A. So somebody who has completed a BCom, which I'm assuming it's a bachelor's in commerce, can they apply?
Sure, they can apply. And once they apply, we go through their transcript and calculate what related courses they have taken, similar to the MIM curriculum. And we will define how many courses they are required to take in the pre-master program.
Okay. There's a question here. Let's say I applied for MIM only, like the Coach MIM, and I studied it for a year and became one of the top 5 students. Then can I continue to the MIM double degree directly? Will I pay extra tuition?
For double degree, well, Özgün knows better than me, but as far as I know, we decide on the interview process according to the demands and preferences of the candidates who will be doing the double degree program. So we only accept 5 students each year, but if a student accepted in this program changes her idea, and then we do an announcement to our current students, and we reevaluate their applications, and we can send them to the University of South Carolina. On basis of our double degree agreement, they do not pay any tuition fee to the University of South Carolina. They only pay the tuition fee to the Koç University. But of course, they are responsible for their international student fees in the US. I know there are some health insurance cases, student fees, student card fees, and their travel expenses, their accommodation expenses. We do not provide those. We do not pay stipends, but they do not pay the tuition fee to the University of South Carolina.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What is the deadline to submit the GRE or GMAT scores if the interview is successful? So I think we have answered that. You say what you would have until, you know, if you don't need a pre-masters, then August, late August.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Again, we don't know when is going to be the start of the semester, the fall semester. We are assuming a September date. It may also be October. So all of this is still a bit uncertain, but please know that whenever we know, it will be published on our websites, the main Koç University website, the Graduate School of Business, the International Admissions website, so that you
and
can.
of course, we will email each and every candidate about it, and the applicant, the admitted people.
We have a question here. How are the job opportunities for international students after graduating from Koç? As far as I know, Turkish companies prefer local students, and some even have restrictions for sponsorships of work permits. So do you have any placement data about company names and job titles for past graduates?
Well, it is the similar case in each and every country. It is not, if you are an international, it is not always easy to get a job. You can get the job offer, but the work permit issues go on. We do know this because of our Turkish SEM students. Since they do not have the European citizenship, their processes are going longer and longer. Yeah, after graduation, we do have a data. The 37% of our graduates are working abroad. But I think this question is coming from an international student who wants to work in Turkey. It depends. It depends on the companies. Sometimes multinational companies are more flexible, but yeah, we're living under the tough circumstances, so I cannot define, you know, I cannot talk very clearly on this issue. But for the international internship, they can apply for internships through the Erasmus internship program, where they will not need a work permit for it. But for full-time jobs after graduation for the international students, we did have alumni who are working at UNDP Istanbul. The one was from Denmark and the other was from the USA, and the other was from Mauritius. So it was okay. It depends on the institution and the company, but local companies are not very willing to deal with the bureaucratic issues.
If I may add also as well, our experience, not only in the Graduate School of Business programs, but some of our other graduate programs, is that most of our international students, they want to complete their education here because it's offering, you know, excellent quality and affordable tuition and a very nice location to spend 1 or 2 years. But their ultimate career goal is actually to go back to their country to gain better positions in academia or in industry, depending on the program. And those that do want to stay here, then learning Turkish as a language to a level of proficiency that allows you to work in a professional environment, that becomes the main advantage. So if you're able during that year that you're here, or even before you join, to start learning Turkish, that can make a difference in terms of the type of job opportunities that you can apply to. That's when, you know, work permits and bureaucracy still exists, let's say, but it just simply widens the pool of positions or the type of positions that you can apply if you are able to demonstrate that you can speak Turkish fluently. Again, it's up to each individual if they want to do that. So spend the time to learn Turkish. I'm a foreigner here in Turkey, and it's, I have to say, at first it's not an easy language to learn. I think I'm still not fluent, and my colleagues at the university
you're
are very
really fluent.
But what I'm trying to say is at first, if you don't speak Turkish and you're looking for a position that only requires English, or maybe English and another language, like for example, Arabic, there are positions, but they're very limited. So there is competition for them. So we have another question. After someone has completed their degree with does the university offer job placements or post-study work? Can you, I hope you can hear me. I hope my internet is
Some
back now.
parts I filled in the blanks.
Okay, I'll
Well,
they provide some type of career support services to the students so that they can find positions after graduation.
We do have a career development directorate at on campus. Melissa, you know better than me the programs they're running, and they are helping students one by one, face to face. They're doing the mock interviews. They are providing some online mediums for job search and seminars going on. But it is not a guarantee that this center specifically finds a job for the graduates.
Yeah, so we are not a university that it's ever going to say, you know, guarantee job placement after graduation. I think that's quite unethical as well. I mean, there's different ways, but what you can be assured is that there is a lot of support services for you as a student, either if you're from Turkey or international, in terms of how to prepare your CV, how to do how to do panel interviews, other types of interviews, how to use your network. So there is, as them said, invite people from different industries to campus during the semester to give insights into specific
Melissa, I cannot hear
industries.
you. Maybe I should turn off my camera for a
those
better
are
connection.
that's the support that we. Oh, okay. All right. So let's try that. Okay. Hope you can hear me now. It might be my internet. I hope. I hope it's not. Okay. We can switch cameras as we're speaking. There is a question here from a Turkish participant. As you know, the ALICE exam has been postponed. Do you accept applications for MIM without an ALICE and YEDISE score for now?
For the moment, yes. So they can participate in the interviews, but for the registration, we do need those scores.
Okay. So I hope that answers the questions.
And still, if they are YEDISE or ALES, if they're expired, they can submit on the system, through the system, until the registration period. We will consider them with their existing expired scores.
Great.
If they have.
Okay. Do you accept Duolingo score? The answer is no, unfortunately, because it's currently not accepted by the Higher Education Council of Turkey as a valid English exam. As of now, as Nidem mentioned in her presentation, it's the TOEFL internet-based test or the locally available YEDISE or also YOKDIL exam, but Duolingo is not currently accepted. We have a question, what is the scholarship capacity or quota, like contingent, I guess it's how we can understand it, for each year? Do we have one?
Each year it changes. It depends on the candidate's profile. It depends on the economic and social circumstances. So I cannot tell an exact percentage, but up until now, at least 50% of our students were on a scholarship. It might be, you know, it includes the full tuition waiver, 50%, 75 or 25%. I can tell that.
Okay, that's good. That's a very high percentage, actually. You don't find that in every,
yeah,
especially in Europe. So, so somebody is saying, well, you know, it's again the Duolingo score. We just said, unfortunately, is not accepted. And we know that if you don't have IELTS or TOEFL right now, that's okay. You can still.
Well, yeah, language scores are not big issues before the interview because we're running the interviews in English, and when we go through the application files, it is understandable, visible, you know, if someone has a good command of English. But we do need those scores for the official registration. But for GMAT and GRE are different because they are measuring the analytical capacities of the candidates. So we do need those scores. to give the final decision. But for the language, interview is a process, you know, the letters, the essays they're sending, they're all process, they're all some valid criteria to examine, assess the students.
Okay. We have someone here asking just for confirmation. So if they understand right, the scholarship only covers the tuition fees, not monthly stipend. Am I right? Yes. So it's only
you
a
are
tuition
right.
waiver, a tuition exemption. It does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And regarding the GMAT GRE score, if I get the admission, then I would still need to show my GMAT GRE score. Does that mean that can I delay my admission to the university enrollment, I guess is what you mean, like enrolling or registering in October or November because of not having the test score before?
No, because in October, we will be already accomplished one of the core courses.
Okay.
So it is not possible.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to move now and start reading the questions in the Q&A section. We had answered some of them. We mentioned this, but it's worth repeating. Can we get an application fee waiver as international students? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Can the IELTS TOEFL requirement be waived for international students based on the fact that their undergraduate degree was from an English medium institute?
Well, it should be an institute, university located in a country where the language, you know, native language is English.
Okay.
So, for example, a university located in France, let's say, I should say, or Sorbonne, if the student has already completed the whole program in English, it wouldn't count.
Okay. Does the university provide any employment opportunities to international students to help them cover their tuition fee costs and living expenses? I will try to answer that. The university has very, very limited, at least on-campus employment opportunities for international students. Our students who are in research programs like master with thesis or PhD programs, they work at the university as teaching assistants or research assistants. And for that, they receive a stipend to cover their living expenses. But if you need to find employment to cover your tuition fees or living expenses, then you need to find employment outside of the university. There are, again, it's not easy as in many countries in Europe or even the US to find part-time positions as an international student. A company can hire you, but they need to apply for a work permit for you in the position that you're going to be, even if it's part-time. That does, and at the same time, you would have a student residence permit. So the message that we tend to give students is you need to make sure that you will have funding from other sources to cover your tuition fees and your living expenses. So you cannot depend or rely on trying to find a job in Istanbul whilst you're studying to cover those expenses, because it will put you in a very difficult situation that may compromise your academic performance. You can check different sources for funding that are available to you as a citizen of your country. For example, if you can have access to educational credits or loans, or from other sources like family or national scholarships that would include business degrees in terms of the coverage of scholarships. That's our recommendation. If you want to know what are the typical or average living expenses in Istanbul for an international student, you can visit our international admissions website. We have a link there to a website called Numbeo, numbeo.org. It's very useful because you put in your kind of typical, like as a student, what type of lifestyle choices you would make, how many times a week would you eat out, if you're going to use a car or not, if you have dependents or not. And based on that, it gives you an average for living expenses in the local currency, in Turkish lira or in dollars, for example. For undergraduate students, we give an estimate that they should budget between $400 to $600 per month to cover their living expenses, which also include books, guides, local transport, food, clothing, etc. So that, I hope that gives you an idea, but you do need, I mean, there are employment opportunities, but they're very, very limited. And I think Vivian mentioned, I mean, it is an intensive program, so you will be doing a lot of work during the week in terms of your project work and readings and team activities that you have to do as part of the program. And it might not leave you a lot of time to be working part-time. We have another question we have already answered regarding if we can accept IELTS instead of TOEFL. Scholarships we have covered, okay. Can I apply for one of these programs for GSV and also to a program from another school from Koç, from another graduate school? Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
There's no limitation. You can apply to any master programs that you're interested in. And we had a question about Alice, which we have answered. So can I apply without it? Yeah, we answered that. Okay, due to this pandemic, my university is taking a lot of time to process the official transcript. Can I apply through unofficial transcript for the time being?
Yes.
Yes, it is accepted.
Okay, so I guess any type of electronic transcript that they can get showing their date.
Yeah.
When are the classes expected to start? It's a very nice question.
Well, yeah, there are two phases. If the student who's accepted has an undergrad degree other than business administration and economics, they will start in mid-August. But those courses might be, most probably will be conducted online. And the exact MIM program starts by the first week of, the second week of September for the moment. But that might change, if the Higher Education Council in Turkey decides differently.
MBA program. Are there any fully funded scholarships for MBA? And if there are, excuse me, are there any age limitations for the candidates?
We do not do age discrimination at the Graduate School of Business. There are two types of MBA programs. The modular MBA and the full-time MBA. And if the candidate is applying, will be applying for the full-time MBA, since she or he will be not working, there are scholarship opportunities, but they're very limited, I must tell.
Okay, yeah, okay. I know that Sam says we welcome students from all backgrounds. Does that also apply for the Koç MIM? So can they have different degrees, not only management or business, for the Koç MIM?
Yes, it's same for Koç MIM program.
Okay. Can Iranians apply for this program? Yes, of course. There's also no nationality restriction, let's say. We actually have a lot of Iranian students at Koç University. Most of them are actually in our Graduate School of Sciences and Engineering, doing PhD programs and master programs. But we also now have students in our Graduate School of Health Sciences, in our Graduate School of Social Sciences. And I think we've had Iranian students in the Graduate School of Business as well, if I'm not wrong.
At the PhD program
the
and
PhD
executive
program,
MBA, yeah, I remember.
Okay. Can I apply to a fully funded scholarship? In that case, are there any scholarship that would cover flights, accommodation, and tuition fee?
No.
Or no, I mean, we do have that type of scholarship opportunities for our research masters in the other graduate schools. For example, there's a Turkish scholarships program, but that's not, I mean, non-thesis programs like this one, like the Masters in International Management or Masters in Finance or MEA, they're not eligible for that type of scholarships. As I said, what we recommend is that you check if there are any national scholarship programs that you can be eligible for and apply for those so that they can cover your, again, flights, accommodations, and tuition fees. Okay, we answered this question. How about process from Pakistan? There's no difference between countries. So it's exactly the same application process, admission and evaluation process for all candidates. from their countries, regardless of the country. So for Turkish and international applicants. So there's no specific requirements from applicants from Pakistan. Is English proficiency from university accepted or not? So for example, I guess you're referring to a letter from your university saying that you studied in English. I think did them answer that already? So that if the university is located in a native English speaking country, then okay, but if it's not, then it's not accepted. Is there any minimum requirement for GRE verbal and quantitative reasoning scores?
What we do normally when we receive the scores, we convert them directly to GMAT score. We're using the general official tool on the internet, and candidates can look it up and do their calculations. But normally we accept, 150 from each sections. So it differs, or for example, if they're applying for the SAMS program, the GMAT score should be 600 at least. So the total score will be converted to the GMAT equivalent. But if for the MIM programs, we can look up in the different sections, and usually we're trying to see 150 from each section.
Okay, thank you. And we have a question here. I have a master's in public administration and 10-year experience in management. Am I eligible for the scholarship? I think you might be better suited to check out our executive MBA program, which is for people with 7 or more years of professional work experience, and specifically some years in management, or in management positions. But there's no scholarships for that program. So again, we recommend you to check local, in your country, if you can apply for specific national scholarships that include business programs such as an executive MBA program.
Yeah, we expect those candidates having really good, quite good work experience to have some savings, and this MIM program is designed for the fresh graduates who had no capacity to save or work, so that's why we're applying the scholarship for this specific program.
Okay. Which campus do you use for the MIM program? The Rumeli Feneri or the Istini campus?
Rumeli.
Okay, so you're going to be in the nicest campus.
Yeah.
If any of you are here in Turkey or have been to Turkey and have been to our campus, it is a very nice campus experience.
Yeah, you're seeing my background.
Yes. So, and you can see, if you're not in Turkey or have never visited, on our YouTube channel, we have an aerial tour of the campus where you can see all of the facilities, and there's a lot of student videos as well, showing the sports center, the dorms, the classroom. So make sure you check that out as well. There's a similar question. Is the number of applicants you would give 100% scholarships already decided? I wonder the probability of getting it.
Where is the probability?
There is. Okay, that's good. That's good. Do you know, or does the University of South Carolina help SEMS students to find 8-week obligatory international internship? So I guess.
This is a very confusing.
I'll separate the question.
Well,
those people doing SEMS, do they get support to find the international scholarship? That's the first question.
Well, first of all, in order to be admitted as a double degree student with the University of South Carolina, you should not be a SEM student. So you can apply for 3 versions, but you should be admitted either for CoachMIM program or the double degree program, not SEMS. SEMS is another way. Because, when you go to your abroad term, which will not be coach, their end of the term might change. It might be August, it might be March. So we cannot arrange this. The University of South Carolina, normally the curriculum, the academic year starts in the US in by mid-August. So it is not possible to be a SEM student and at the same time to do the double degree program. They can apply for the opportunity, the one that I talked over with the Yale School of Management, but not the double degree program. If you're a SAMS, you are a SAMS.
Okay. What we can say though is, in terms of finding the international internship, you know, Koç University has different services that it offers to students, like databases that only our students have access to find internships as well as full-time positions. So this is a very useful resource that we offer to all of our students, undergraduates and graduate. And these are internships both in Turkey and outside of Turkey. In terms of,
I'm sorry, Mesa, if I have interrupted. For the SAMS, it should be an international internship, which means that the company or the institution should be located outside of Turkey. And if you are not coming from Europe and looking for a job internship in Europe, the work permit issue will appear. But we try to go over this obstacle with using by the help of the Erasmus internship program, where you do not submit a work permit to the company that you're accepted, or we have our own corporate partners like Arçelik, so we have some kind of agreements with them for their entities located in Europe. And but you know, to some, it is always, if you're a SAM student, it's your responsibility to find an international internship. No other 33 SAM schools provide this opportunity to find students international internships. So yeah, but the Erasmus internship is the best tool to use. And I can tell that for over the last 2 years, 3 years, our students, some students did not have difficulties to find an internship, international internship.
Thank you. There's a question, if I live in Turkey, is it compulsory to get intention letter? I'm not sure what you're referring to. If maybe you can, the person who wrote this question, if they can clarify what you mean by intention letter, which might mean our motivation letter.
Reference letter or?
Yeah, or it might refer to corporate support letter, which is something else we require, but for other programs. So if you can clarify the question, we'll try to answer. Again, is it possible to apply with unofficial transcripts and provide the official ones for admission or enrollment? Yes, we have answered that. There's a question here. Can we apply for PAE as a proof of English and not TOEFL? I'm not familiar with PAE. I don't know if you're referring to PTE, which is a Pearson test of English. That is eligible actually from the Higher Education Council, and I know that some of our other graduate schools are accepting it. It's not very common, but if that's what you're referring to, PTE, then yes, PAA, I'm not sure. If you can clarify what you mean by PAE, sorry, please do. Is it guaranteed that we can go to the college that we choose in the second semester of SAM's MIM?
Özgür, would you like to answer this question?
Yeah, at the beginning of the enrollment process, you know your second semester school. So actually, after your admissions that you submit, we send you the list of schools and you choose some of them. And after that, after your interview process, the committee decides to which one you are going to be. Yes, we guarantee that your school in the beginning of the semester.
Okay. Do all applicants get 100% scholarship, or are there any chances of getting 50% scholarship or other percentage scholarship? I think you're a bit confused, so I hope I will try to clarify. Some students may receive 100% scholarship and some may receive 50% scholarship. As Didem said, this is all considered during the evaluation process, after you have the interview with the admissions committee, and they will let you know if you have been awarded a scholarship or not. But the majority, you know, that, yeah, it's not guaranteed that everybody gets a scholarship. I
Yeah,
graduated from an American university. Sorry.
I would like to add something. With the ladder of acceptance, all candidates can see that their exchange term, the percentage of scholarship. So it will be on your acceptance letter. So after you receive it, you will know all the details.
Great. Okay. I graduated from an American university in Lebanon. Do I need to submit a TOEFL score? Yes, because Lebanon doesn't have English as an official language. Even if you did all of your education in English, by national regulation, you do have to provide a TOEFL test score.
Yeah, but she can submit her application, and after the interview, we can reevaluate.
You will not.
So there is no need to wait for the TOEFL score to submit their admissions application files, because even you know, if they have the GMAT or GRE score, it will be good to go with the interview.
So don't worry about it now. You will have to at one point or another to provide it, but for now to apply, don't worry about that. When will the interviews be held?
That's
We
good.
have actually rolling interviews. So if you have all the documents, you can apply on apply.edu.tr, and then in 2 weeks or something, we are evaluating your applications, and then we'll contact you.
Okay. We have a question here about a degree equivalency. Can I apply with a higher national diploma from a Nigerian polytechnic? So that's a question that our graduate schools, I guess, usually check with YOK, which is the Higher Education Council of Turkey, to see if your specific diploma is equivalent to a university bachelor's degree in the same way, if it's equivalent to a Turkish undergraduate or bachelor's degree.
Yeah. So for the international students, when we send them their acceptance letters, we form a list of international students and with their universities and degree titles and you know what countries they're from, and we send it to our university's registrar's office, and the registrars collective files, and they form the application files and submit it to the Higher Education Council in Turkey, and that's how we get the results.
Okay. We have two questions from, I think, from a participant from Chile, which I think we have already answered. Maybe you type them again, but regards to fully funded scholarships, as we said, please check. I know in Chile, for example, they have a national scholarship program, which is from the National Scientific Council, like CONICET, if I'm not wrong. You just need to check if a business program is covered by that scholarship, for example. And whether you can apply to GSV and also to another program. Yes, you can. Are full-time MBA students eligible to start up a business in Turkey? Yes.
Well, that's beyond my comprehension. I'm not sure about it. We need to check with the related departments. I think.
So if you are here as a full-time international student, you would apply for a student residence permit. So that would be your legal migration document and status here in Turkey. As a full-time, as a student residence permit holder, yes, you can start a business. I mean, actually, Turkey has been doing a lot of things to encourage foreign direct investment, so people to start businesses, buy property, set up small companies. How to go about it? We're not the people to ask right now, but perhaps you can check their websites like Invest in Turkey and Invest in Istanbul. So these are the kind of investment promotion agencies of the Turkish government. And as a foreigner, as an international person, let's say, you can check out the details of how you go about starting up a business in Turkey. Are Turkish language courses free for international students?
Yeah, all
I can,
language courses are free for all students.
yeah, so we don't only offer Turkish language courses that go from beginners to advanced. We also offer other language courses in like Russian, Mandarin, French, German. That's also an opportunity here if you're interested. What's the number of students accepted for each program? So I guess, for example, the number of accepted students in the Coach MIM and in the SEMS MIM current average.
Well, in total, we can accept, we can go up to 60, but unfortunately, we do not receive that qualified applications. So we end up around 30, 25. So we would like to expand the scale of our cohorts, but we need to, receive the qualified applicants' application files.
Okay. What will the scholarship fees, what will cover? So I guess you're asking, if you get a scholarship, it only covers your tuition fees. Tuition means education fees. So it doesn't cover other expenses such as books, accommodation, or anything else, okay? It also includes, the tuition fees include also use of the campus facilities. As Didem was saying, the courses are held in our main campus in the Rumeli Feneri area of Istanbul. So within campus, we have, for example, a huge sports center with all the sports facilities that you may need. That is included in your tuition fees. There's a, Olympic-sized swimming pool, football pitch. So there's a lot of specifically like sports facilities that students can use, which are included in the tuition fees, okay? Okay, so the person clarified, yes, I was referring to PTE. Can I apply for that, as it means when I reach to the business school, then I'll give PTE tests to prove my English proficiency instead of TOEFL. So yeah, if you're referring to Pearson test of English, then it is an eligible exam for our university. We don't receive many applicants, or we haven't received many applications that include that specific English proficiency test yet, but yes, you can. Another question. For those who haven't yet submitted, for example, GMAT score and receive a conditional offer, do they also learn about their scholarship offer?
No, not possible.
Okay, so they, once they submit their GMAT score, then you clarify if they have received a scholarship or not. Yeah.
Sorry?
So that once they send the GMAT score, then you're able to let them know if they have received the scholarship or not.
Yeah, as Özgün mentioned, they receive, when they receive the acceptance letter, not the conditional one,
not the conditional one, yeah.
They will see their percentage of scholarship.
Okay. I'm also mindful of the time. We're now about 20 minutes past our initial time, but they've, our single participants have been very patient and very gracious and asked some very interesting and good questions. I see 2 more questions, which I will read. If there's any others, please write them now, and then we will close in about 5 minutes. So if a person has IELTS score and doesn't have GRE, what can they do in that case? So they have an English proficiency, but not GRE or GMAT. So they can still apply.
We do need GRE or GMAT score to send out the final acceptance letters.
Okay. Is there any residence permission or permit for the student's spouse? So when you come here as an international student, if you have any it's not a student residence permit, it's a different category. What I would advise you is we have a unit at the university, which is the International Community Office, ICO, and their website is I will type it here in the chat so you can see it as well, ico.ku.edu.tr. And there they have a lot of information about the different types of residence permits that our students can apply to, and also for their families. There's a specific section which is for families and dependents. And they provide support to our international students to know how to apply for it, which documents you need, and if you need any support in terms of going to the appointment, and because all of this is done in Turkish, unfortunately, then they can also help, because we do have especially like PhD students that come with their families. So that office specifically helps students in that situation. Okay, can I also retake the GRE after I submitted my application? So I guess the question
Yes.
is, you applied with, yeah, okay.
Yes, it's
So you
possible.
apply with one score, but you retake it and submit a new score. So yes, yes, you can. I have language proficiency certificate. So is it necessary to get TOEFL? Yes. We have to repeat this so it's clear. If your university is not located, the university where you completed your bachelor's degree is not located in an English native speaking country, then you do need to provide a TOEFL test score. So I hope that answers the question. So I think we have come now to the end of today's webinar. Thank you so much to all the participants for joining us today from Turkey, from lots of different countries. We're really thankful for your time. You can see the contact details for the Graduate School of Business in there. If you have specific questions as an international applicant, I'm also going to type in the chat our international admissions email address. It's study@ku.edu.tr. So I'm going to say bye for now. Özgün and Didem, if you want to say bye, then we'll then close the webinar.
Okay, thank you very much for being with us today. Bye-bye.
So you can contact with us via gsd@ku.edu.tr if you have any further questions. We will be happy to answer them.
Okay.
Thank you for your participation.
Thank you, Özgün and Didem, for your time as well. I know
Thank
this
you,
is
Melissa.
the busiest period.
Thanks
So
a lot.
you'll be safe and healthy everywhere, wherever you are. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.